Yo, 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 what's going on? This is the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange, and I'm back to do another review with my amazing team here at the NRW. I've got Heather, Don't Hurt Him from No Release Wednesday, and of course, the guy that levels us up, the Blur Dad, Glenn Lawrence. They will be just here in a second with me to break it all down about the new Batman. But before we do that, let's check out the trailer, the final trailer, The Bat and the Cat, before we get into this review. Here we go right now.
Bruce Wayne.
Sorry?
I wouldn't be bothering you here, but your people keep telling me you're unavailable. You know, you really could be doing more for this city. Your family has a history of philanthropy, but as far as I can tell, you're not doing anything.
The Riddler is asking for you.
The killer left this for the Batman. Why is he writing to you?
You came. I've been trying to reach you.
Riddler's latest. It's all about the Waynes. If we don't stand up, no one will.
You got a lot of cats.
I have a thing about strays. The bat and the cat. It's got a nice ring.
New friend of yours?
I'm not so sure. I'm just here to unmask the truth about this cesspool we call a city. You're part of this too.
Hands up! Stay still!
How am I part of this? Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were. Bruce Wayne. All these years, you lied to me, Alfred. We all have our scars, Bruce.
He's still away.
He's involved in this?
No, he's not involved.
How do you know? He's a vigilante.
Who are you under there? What are you hiding?
Selena, don't throw your life away.
Don't worry, honey. I got 9 of them.
It can be cruel, poetic, or blind. But when it's denied, it's through violence you may find.
Justice. The answer's justice.
Come on, vengeance. Let's get into some trouble.
Boom, there you go. That was the trailer for The Batman, the latest installment of Batman on the big screen. As you see, I have Heather, Don't Hurt Him from New Release Wednesday. And of course, the Blur Dad himself, Mr. Glenn Lawrence. How are you all, my good people?
I'm good. I'm very excited.
Okay.
I'm trying to reserve it. Okay.
Okay. We're going to save it for the latter portion of the review. But before we get into it, Heather's going to break down the story synopsis. My man Glenn's going to break down the characters. Before we do all of that and give you our review, what were your thoughts when this was announced and this was coming and going to be up on the screen for us all to see? Heather, tell me what you were thinking.
I was thinking the world. I literally went into this film expecting everything. I hate going into movies of any caliber with any expectation. I usually go into a film expecting the trailers are going to be the best part of a movie. That way I always leave with a little bit happier than I left, than I got in. But like I have been waiting with every single piece of myself since the first images in February 2020. Every single part of me was ready for this film. So,
all right. And how about you, Glenn Lawrence?
If Heather was super excited, I was on the other end of the spectrum. I was like, another reboot of Batman when we just had a Batman. You know, like in the whole, Snyderverse. So I was not very excited for it until I saw the trailer. Once the images started coming out, then I was like, oh, I might be interested. And then, that last trailer that we saw, that was when I was like, no, I'm so annoyed because I'm excited to see this movie now. I didn't want to be excited for a DC movie, but now I'm excited. And with this and the other things that they've done, I'm excited for DC. So when I first saw it, not really excited. This last trailer had me, and then of course, we'll get into the review a little bit later.
All right. Okay. Well, cool. I was a little bit between the both of you guys. I was a happy medium. So I will just save all that for when we get into the review. So let me throw it over to Heather with a breakdown of the story. Here we go.
So we come in and we are basically thrown right into the long Halloween. We have the current mayor who has done the cleanup of the city, or, it's Gotham, so clean up. And we have, he gets killed. And what follows is I want to do a lot of spoilers, but I don't at the same time. What follows is a detective cat and mouse kind of story between who is this terrorist who is just ripping the city apart, destroying and literally killing political figures at every caliber, and Gotham City PD actually bringing in this brand new, because in this version he's only been the Batman for a couple of years, bringing in this new caped crusader and vigilante to help them diagnose and take apart this crime. Over the course of the film, we get to see some of the classic rogues gallery introduced. We have Falcone, we have the Penguin, and how everything is truly interconnected in Gotham up and into his family history, including the Arkhams and the psychosis that befills them, that has reaped havoc through the family, and even the Wayne family. Wow. I'm all over it, guys. I'm so excited about this. You have no idea. The mayoral candidacy that was shattered by the murder of the Waynes, and how it all breaks down into what has truly been destroying Gotham as a whole, and that is money and drugs and the mob, and conspiracy. And where conspiracy hides, there is destruction, there is mayhem, and there is definitely murder. It all culminates into what most people consider as to be the 0 year, the destruction of Gotham, and that just is laid waste during a current mayoral event. And I think I hit all of the major points without breaking up too much. So we'll break up more when we get to the other parts. But I think I got to most of it.
All right, Glenn, it's you with the characters.
Oh man. Well, the first before we get to the characters, definitely got to give a shout out to Matt Reeves, who is the director of the film. Incredible direction here, and of course he and Peter Craig wrote it with a couple of other story by credits. But the characters, everybody knows Batman hinges on who is playing who. This time we get the Robert Pattinson Batman, and I love it. There's Catwoman, played by Zoe Kravitz, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. I didn't realize this until after the film, but the Penguin is played by Colin Farrell. That was pretty shocking, pretty amazing transformation there. Paul Dano thought he did an amazing job as the Riddler. John Turturro was Carmine Falcone, Andy Serkis as Alfred, and then a whole host of other side supporting casting characters. I don't know if we need to get into all the nuances of all the background. Those are the main characters. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that you open your comic book to read about. Those are the ones that you watch the film for, and they did an amazing job here. So kudos to the cast and the crew, of course.
All right, and let's not forget Paul Dano, who played Riddler. That's important. Oh, you did get him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I Glenn's excited. Heather's excited. I'm just gonna open the floodgates now. But before I do that, we're about to spoil y'all. So if you haven't seen the film, pause the video, stop, go watch the film, then come back, because they're about to lay waste like the Riddler gang did at the very end of this film. Here we go. That was your warning. All right, who wants to go in first? Heather, go ahead. I'm gonna throw
Heather,
it.
you've been so excited. Get them.
Y'all, I literally, there is a moment in the film, if y'all want to know anything, my full opinion, there was a moment in the film, and it was when the Batmobile revved its engines. And we have seen the Batmobile. This was nothing new. This wasn't like a new image. When it revved its engines and it went off after Penguin. And by the way, and I'm just stepping up for a second, Colin Farrell is grossly underutilized in film in general. Like, if the fact that nobody knew it was him, he's more than a pretty face. And I'm saying this as someone who's been in love with that pretty face since she was like a preteen. And so, but the moment that car chase, I was in the theaters in tears. No reason. There wasn't a sad moment. It wasn't, I mean, there was a sad moment. A girl just died, but there was no reason for me to be in tears, having it be an emotional state like that. It was every 80s and 90s kid every kid who would read 80s and 90s comics. That was the pivotal moment. And it was just like, I can't believe I'm watching this. And that was it to me. I literally walked out of the movie theater and shaking it in tears. Like, I was so happy with it.
I feel because I'm an older head. I think, although Glenn's around my age, that was a great moment. One of the best moments in this entire film. But it was, for me, it was reminiscence of the '89 Batman when that Batmobile armored up, because that was amazeballs. If you haven't seen the 1989 Batman, that particular moment in regards to the Batmobile was insane. And I think for this generation, y'all got that moment with that rev up and just everything forward from that scene. One of the best car chase scenes I've ever seen as well. But yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'll tell you what my favorite was very, very early in the movie, that how I knew I was going to like it, right? Like, the movie started out, everything's dark, and you just get the sense all this crime is happening around, but the criminals are kind of like, every time there's a shadow, they're like, hold up, wait, is there something in that shadow? And then another criminal's doing it, and they're like, hold up, is he about to be in it? And then, like, when he emerges actually from the shadow and comes out, I'm like, okay, they got something here. They're setting a mood, you know what I mean? And they're doing more than just, showing you Batman, which we're going to get excited about, showing you the flashy parts of it. They're setting a mood for the movie. And that part was what really got me excited for like the rest of the movie. That's where I knew I was in good hands from the very beginning, how they did that, because it's more than just seeing the cape, seeing the costume, seeing the outfits and everything. It's the mood that they set. And I thought that this definitely was a great starting off point for the next Batman, another Batman. And that got me super hyped for it. I mean, I could go on. There's so much that I could think. We should round robin it, because I will just go off and just verbally, like,
well, we're still going. We just started. Heather wasn't finished, guys. Bro. We're still going. You can still. Okay. We want to hear all these comments. That's what we're here to do. So go ahead, Heather.
That's one of the great things about Batman. So one thing that you see on the interwebs, because I'm constantly on there and I'm sorry, but the interwebs is you see the two trains of thought. You actually see three, but we're not going to talk about that third one because the third one's just wrong. But the two trains of thought that you really see are the comparisons, and you don't need to compare anything. You never need to compare something to something else. This is a movie. This is its own universe, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things you really see is the comparison between the Dark Knight series was about Batman. It was about Bruce Wayne. Whereas to the average comic reader, and people can disagree, but sorry, Batman isn't about Batman. Batman is definitely not about Bruce Wayne, but Batman is about the characters that help create, help change, help shift him around. This film is about the characters. It's not in any way about Batman. It's about a man becoming what he's trying to become as the Batman. And he's doing that through the character development that we see. And so what really shifted a lot of opinion, it seems, is if you believe that a Batman film should be about Batman, or if a Batman film should be about everybody. This film was about everybody. And God damn it, did they do that well. I'm going to put, I will die on this hill. Jeffrey Wright was the best James Gordon since Batman the Animated Series. I will die on that hill.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll die on the hill in regards to Zoe Kravitz is my fucking Catwoman. She murdered this. Absolutely brilliant. I'm with you with Jeffrey Wright, but I for myself personally as well, Zoe Kravitz absolutely killed it.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about this Batman? I feel like all the Batman movies, they focused on a certain like aspect of the comic book. Like the first ones were kind of like you just see the comic book character and they kind of develop that world. And the Dark Knight I really love because it went into like the history of Batman, and like I think everyone always forget like Batman's a ninja. Like he, you know what I mean? Like he's got skills, you know what I'm saying? And this movie I really like because it focused on the fact that Batman's one of the smartest people in the DC universe, and he's like a detective. He's good at like figuring things out, and it really was a great juxtaposition between him and the Riddler. So I just like that they took that aspect, and I think this one really focused on the aspect of Batman's intelligence and his intellect. And I think that might be where some people are kind of falling off and having a little bit of struggle with the film, because it's a very intellectual and cerebral movie. You know what I mean? It has the elements of action, but a lot of it is like his intellect. And I won't get it. I mean, this movie, I guess he didn't ninja train yet or something. You know what I'm saying? Because he would just get beat up a lot. Like I always want to see like Batman actually like all of the things together, you know what I'm saying? Like where he's being a detective, which we didn't really get in the whole Christopher Nolan trilogy or whatever, but then also being like badass and like really holding his own in terms of fighting or whatever. I mean, he was good, but he definitely was not ninja good in this, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my take on that one.
Okay, I've got a question for Kuya over here. So
were you done?
About...
I thought you were gonna go through some stuff before we go.
No. I've got a question.
Okay.
I've got a different question.
Because I have a whole feeling on this that varies, I think, greatly from both of you. Okay, I was gonna wait on mine, but go ahead. I'm ready.
No. All right, then I have a question that can lead into your portion of it.
Oh, I don't know if y'all want me to go yet.
No, I don't. That's the whole point of this. To have a round robin.
Oh, of course.
But my first question to you to start out on yours: when it comes to movies, a lot of people are saying whether you liked Batman or not, this was a phenomenal film.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Completely agree. Yeah, phenomenal film, amazingly shot. And as much as I hate to say this, wonderfully cast. Again, Robert Pattinson is not. And actually, I thought about this as well. I really hadn't been happy with any of the Batmans, to be honest. The only Batman I've truly enjoyed were the oh my gosh, the Batman the animated series. No, hell no. Who the voice of Batman in the animated series?
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy is the voice of fucking Batman. Will forever be the voice of Batman for me. So that's the only but live action, I haven't been 100% on anybody thus far. I haven't seen the perfect Batman yet, live action cast. So with that being said, amazingly cast. And I'll still say I could beat up Robert Pattinson, but he played the part. He did his job here. Again, like you said, Jeffrey Wright, Paul Dano, Zoe Kravitz, who again, to me, I've always loved her 1,000 times even more with this. She was the perfect Selena Kyle. And then shot well, Matt Reeves. Oh my God. As a filmmaker, that downward shot when they're at the finale inside the arena with the red and then the lights, just the iconography when the daylight, when they're on top of the skyscrapers, just the shot selection, just amazeballs and so inspiring. But there's a lot of other issues I have with it, but I'll save that for later. I'd rather go into some positives now before we get into negatives.
Okay, fine.
No, I'm with you. I agree. It's a very entertaining film.
Okay, well, give us some negatives so we can talk negatives, because I'm just going to talk about how much I love it. So go ahead.
Okay. So
I'll go back and forth.
No. One of the great things about So okay, let's just put it into perspective. I'm about to go see it again because like I've wanted to see it a second time since I stood up from my seat. So the fact that I am only seeing it, and this is for anybody who's watching any movie at all, especially when you have blinders on a fandom. You can talk about this with things like J.K. Rowling, who is a piece of absolute dirt. You cannot put a blinder on the fact that she is a piece of absolute dirt.
Yeah.
So if I'm walking into a film expecting it to be amazing, and yes, it did surpass all my expectations, the only way that I'm going to see a realistic expectation is if someone goes, you know what, I didn't like this part. And then I can go, all right, well, let me take a look. So have at it.
There you go.
I feel you.
Now she's throwing it back to you, Kuyapi. She wants to hear the negative.
Okay.
I'm going to jump in later with some funny observations that I had from it. But Kuyapi, go ahead, give us.
Before I tell them, okay, I didn't hate the film, but I didn't love the film. It is probably the best adaptation of Batman onto the big screen. So there's a lot of pluses that I have, but I don't know. My friend Kaede, he made this comment. Let me read what he wrote. And I would completely agree. Shout out to Kaede Kendall, who's been on the NR Dub quite a bit. I forgot the name of his pop culture channel stuff, but shout out to my boy Kaede. And also he prefaces too at the beginning, like you can't rank the Batman films. I think every generation has its own Batman. I think with age also, I would agree with that. It gives you wisdom. Like, I can't say that my 89 Keaton Batman is better than this Batman. And straight up, I'll already give my top 2 Batman films. The 89 Batman will forever be my top Batman film because of just the mystique and everything growing up with that. And I hate to say this, but now this Batman is my number 2. So again, as you see, I enjoy these films, but I can't, there's a different thing with it with the 89 Batman that I can't take it away. And I think 89 Batman is, to me, Batman before the dark grit of Frank Miller came and changed what we know of Batman. The Batman is the Frank Miller onward to now, where that is what everybody knows of Batman. Batman before that had that dark, that gritty, but there was still that sheen of superheroes. If you know what I'm talking about, still the camp. There was still the camp. Exactly, which makes it still that superhero-ness and super villains that we love. So that's the dividing line. And again, what's crazy about it is all about the realism, and that's what we're getting with this Matt Reeves Batman in spades. That took it above from what Christopher Nolan gave us. And that's because that's what we loved about Christopher Nolan. We wanted something real. This is finally getting it to the point where it's just not this kid stuff that they keep on labeling superhero films to be. This is what I want superhero films to be with the Batman, So again, I have a lot of props to it, but there's just, there's a lot going on in this film. And I think you all can completely agree. It has an almost 3-hour time span. There's parts of it where as a filmmaker, I love the shots. I love it for the camera to linger a little bit to set it up, but there's some editing that could have been done here. There is some editing that could have been done. There's points where it seems that they needed to keep stuff in because the studio wanted to keep it in, but like towards the end, it's like, we should have been done after this point, but oh no, we still got this much more story we got to solve. We already captured Riddler. Oh no, but now he has his troops out here. There's this ultimate plan. He's in jail. Like I thought the film was going to end at that point. It's like, now we have like a whole nother 30, 40 minutes or something like that. Right. We had to make sure that the insurrection took place.
Hold on.
It's convoluted.
I'm sorry.
Let me finish my points, bro. Like
I gotta pause though. Let's go.
As much as I love the Riddler, we're never, if we keep on going this dark sense, and I'm now referring back to Kaede's notes that he had made as well, because we've gone so dark and so realistic, we'll never see like a Frank Gorshin or Jim, that kind of Riddler. We're now in this weird dark TikTok Riddler, which to me is amazing. And again, I'm not talking bad about this. I think we need this, and that's what makes this perfect. And if we want those other Riddlers, we still have that. But I see there's difficulty going to be there if you're going to try to bring up other superheroes or super villains because you're getting so dark. Like would it be believable to have a clay face? You know what I'm saying? So, but again, even as I say this, you know what? If people really want that, I know as an old school fan like myself, I can go back to the animated series and get that stuff. So it may sound like hate, but I just fear for the next generation, if we keep on keeping it such a dark tone, it's going to be difficult to bring out some of the other beauty that is the Gotham universe and all of that. I'm gonna leave it right there. Oh, it just Pattinson just emo all the way through, but then I understand he was already broken since the death, and so he never became this, playboy Bruce Wayne, which I'm cool with. So there's just it's nitpicking this, but then those are just my problems because I'm an old head, and wishing to see some of that. I think it's just going to be difficult for a part 2, part 3, the way they played it out. But just overall, I think my biggest gripe were just some of the editing that there could have been some editing choices. And but it truly is a great film. It's number 2 Batman for me.
All right,
go ahead.
Can I?
You can have the stand now.
I wanted to call a timeout when you said like after the Riddler was caught, because in my mind, that's part of the nuance of this film. The fact that the Riddler, his whole thing was he thought him and Batman were on the same side.
I understand it.
Like his whole thing was, I did this whole thing, set it up so that you would be here and we would be safe together. And then you can get me out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because we did this thing together. We were trying to clean up the city together. Right. And that's when like all of a sudden he's like, no, we're not the same or whatever. And you had to break away from that. And that's when the Riddler was like, whoa, like I made a mistake. I thought you were my boy. Like, that's why I was writing you notes. We were in this together because, when you're watching it, you're thinking he's saying to the Batman to antagonize, but he was giving a shout out to his boy who he thought was like doing the same thing as him, trying to clean up the city, get rid of.
I completely understand. And I completely knew that. But then I would, it just, that's what the length of it in the way it got to that point. To me, you would have saved that for like a part 2 film or something like that. But the whole thing is the whole plan wasn't done yet because the whole plan. I understand that. Right. I would have saved it for the part 2 or something. It just because as long as the film felt.
But here's my point.
Sat there for so long.
You don't get the feel, right, if they don't have that meeting where they can see the schism and like, because right now you're having like a what you call it, like the there's the part of the Batman who is like vengeance or whatever, thinking that he's doing what's right. And then he has that mirror held up to him that's saying like, yeah, you're right. Let's do what's right. Let's take out all the corruption. Let's take all this out. Right. And then you have that meeting. That's why I think like other parts, I thought all the long shots of like people driving away, those could have gone away. But like, I thought that was very much needed in the film because the real thing is like the Batman coming to grips that his vengeance is actually the same as what the Riddler was doing. And I thought also the Riddler, in terms of he was just anger. He's like a lot of aggression about it, but he's going about it in like a very, like methodical way. And the reason why I like that is because
you could understand it, which I thought was great too. About that.
If you understand his motivations, if you have like the Riddler basically be wacky and zany like the Joker, then all the villains have the same thing. I'm wacky and zany, so crazy, right? But you have like a difference there. And that's why at the end, when the Joker and or whoever it was, I think it was the Joker.
It is Joker. They did come out that it was Joker.
So at the end, when they meet up, there's almost like the maniacal laughing together where you can kind of see the transformation in Paul Dano's like Riddler, where it's like, oh my, like, you're right, this is so crazy, you know what I mean? And then you might get the Riddler that you're talking about in the next film or whatever. So I was like jumping in there because I'm like, that was my favorite part, that at the end when he got to the jail, it's like, yo, like I like, because the Batman at that point when he's looking at the Riddler thinks that the Riddler knows who he is, and like all of this was done to antagonize him because he knows who he is. And then at that moment he realizes that he doesn't, and he's like, you don't really know me. I thought that was part of the beauty of the film.
I got you. I got you, and respect to you. Yeah, respect to that. That's how it played for you. But I don't. For me personally, it didn't play that way. Like it could have played differently. Also, another thing that was kind of aggravating, and I saw other Asian community pointing this out on Twitter that saw the film. The first person that the criminals go after is an Asian man on a train. Just the optics. I know they filmed this way before, or I don't know. I have to check the timeline again. I actually been meaning to do that. of.
Most of it was filmed throughout the pandemic, which is actually something to give the.
So they could have changed that scene to a degree.
Most of the film was set up, was filmed during the pandemic, and you would not know.
Yeah, but yeah. So there was a scene with an Asian man who gets jumped by a bunch of hoods, and we're coming off of Asian hate, and that's still occurring in many ways. So just the sensitivity nature, I'm just kind of surprised with as much lead time that they could have to possibly change that up. It just was. It was traumatic, to be honest with you, that some of my other Asian, I didn't find it as traumatic personally, but it did make me twinge a little bit personally when I watched it. And then when I saw the commentary afterward, how traumatic for some people it felt. And actually some people outright said, I'm not going to watch the film because of that, was unfortunate, and sad. So some sensitivity in nature would have been good there. But again, overall, it was a great film, visually stunning, beautifully cast. But just there's parts that to me could have been edited out. And it was a lot. It was a lot. There's a lot going on, but more good than bad for me personally.
So to go back to your point, and I am a white person. I cannot say what is truly traumatic to people of color, because that is not my place. That is not who I am, nor should anyone who looks like me ever be able to do. But to be fair to that statement, one of the things that you see amongst critics everywhere is that it's too dark, it's too real, it's too reminiscent of real times. And to be honest, one of the things that I appreciate about scenes like those, scenes like the young Black boy who was being pushed into these mob situations, that's really happening. Yeah. And I'm sorry if you don't like it because it's too real, then critics, y'all are literally giving it props, because that's
what we wanted to. We pushed
exactly
for a realistic Batman film, and that's what it delivered. So it's going to be. It's hard to call when some things are going to happen in the world. So
absolutely. I once again, I don't want to dismiss any feelings. It's one of those where, in so many ways, though, that's exactly what it was meant to do. Is it was meant to be like, hate is happening, it's real, and the only way to confront it is to confront it. And it's unfortunate that it also had a white savior complex to that situation, but it's the darkness in so many ways needed to be seen, because it's really out there, and it's really happening, and people are legitimately targeting people of color, and just being awful, and it's terrible. So
which it also brings up a very funny point to me. It's like, what is going on in Gotham that every time a new villain pops up, people are like, I'll sign up, I want to be part of the clique. Like, do they have any more citizens that are just like, no, I'm not going to follow this guy. Like, every time there's a new villain, he has at least like 35 to 40 different followers who are just
or at least 500. That's how many I think Riddler had in that chat room, because we saw
500 people,
500 subscribers or something.
And then Joker, when he came out, he had like hundreds of followers. It's just like every time there's a new one that comes out, it's like, yo, I'm hopping on board. This is my thing. I'm doing it.
This all. I mean, that's the funniest thing about it. But like, in reality, like, that's one of the big plot points of the film, is that everyone can be bought. Everyone can be bought. And that's what this is. And one of the great things that this movie was so packed with Easter eggs. There were so many times where it was like me and 3 other people were laughing, like, because it was like,
what were some of your favorites, since we're on that? Yeah.
Well,
because I'd like to, I'm curious, like diving,
I definitely will
breaking it down a little bit more. Like, what were some of y'all's?
Well, let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And I actually think I just forgot my whole train of thought. Money. But that's the thing, is it's one of the great things that it really portrayed about it within a Batman universe, is that everything is always about money. And one of the Easter eggs was Martha, and that is her origin and what happened and how they were potentially killed. And, you had Alfred like suggesting maybe it was just some guy who came out and, killed them because they needed some money. And that's exactly out of Year One. It's out of Earth One. I'm sorry. Batman Earth One. That's the exact situation. That's exactly what happened. That was a huge Easter egg. So I find that a really good point. It's kind of ironic, but at the same time, that's also exactly what Batman is. It's exactly what he is. And sorry, Kat. I
Hi,
apologize.
Cat.
The cat's like, are you going to talk about Catwoman?
I'm not- so when it comes to Zoe Kravitz, I love Zoe Kravitz. She's amazing in every single way, and she's gorgeous, and I want to be her. But it's one of those where what's the great thing about Zoe, about her Catwoman, is that she is so different from everything we've seen in cinema, except she's exactly what we've seen in cinema. She's all of the Catwomen that we've seen, like, put together in this beautiful, amazing little ball, and it's wonderful. And I loved her. But going into the Easter eggs, one of my favorite, of course, was Hush. The fact that Hush was written on.
I was like, that's gonna be part 2 now. We're gonna have Hush for part 2.
Oh, I mean, I love it, but it was on the video with Elliot, and I'm just sitting here going,
Yeah.
Love it.
sorry.
Love it. There's just like so much to like in all this. I just like a lot of the symbolism that they had in there too. It just, and I don't know. I just like
Say it, dude.
No, I just thought it was like we said at the top. It was a great film. You know what I mean? Like, it was a great film that happened to be, a Batman film. And, the other thing, like, we're just focusing on different aspects of Batman. Now, I really wish we could get like all of them together. You know what I mean? Like the great fighter Batman, the great, like, technical Batman, like with, all the weapons and all that type of stuff. Like, can we get just all of it in one encapsulated thing? But maybe that's not how it's supposed to be done, because that's not how the comic books were. You know what I mean? Like, they all had different aspects that they focused on. So maybe that's why we're getting different films that are, but I just want to see it all together. You know what I mean? Like, put it together. I will say this. When I heard Robert Pattinson's voice, I was like, okay, I could dig it, because I thought he did the voice right. But we had the Christian Bale, like, rah, 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 rah. And then Ben Affleck was just, he just talked normal. You know what I'm saying? So I really like the fact that this felt like a great representation of the Batman voice. You know what I mean? So there's that too.
What do you think of the batarang being part of the chest, being the bat symbol on the chest, and how that played into it?
I mean, his entire costume being a giant utility belt is kind of perfect.
Basically, right?
I like it. It makes sense, right? Like, that's kind of what he does. You know what I mean? He's always prepared. He always has another little gadget somewhere. You know what I mean?
Or even, actually, the most important, I think, aspect of this costume that I'm not sure, because I don't recall this from the comic books. I more so saw from like Iron Man stuff, but with Batman, they utilized cameras and contact lenses. And that was major. Awesome. And then that became a device used with Catwoman when she went into the Iceberg Lounge. What did you think of that? And I think it's perfect for being a year one Batman, for him to utilize these kind of materials and technology, for him to backtrack, and then because he would take the contacts off when he got to the Batcave after a mission, and then write in his journal everything and rewatch everything of what he saw from that case earlier when he was on, at the crime scene. I think a great aspect of it. To me, probably even more profound than anything that he had in his weaponry, were those contact lenses with the cameras.
Amazing. And I thought the nuance too of him, like his eyes adjusting when he's like in the daylight, that's just like a small little part that I don't know that we saw in any other films. You know what I mean? Like he's always at night, like where he had to, like, rub his eyes and he put on sunglasses and those type of things. I thought the top contacts were great because it shows how advanced his technology is, right? And it also shows how he uses it. And it makes sense. Like, how does he get all that information and know all that information? He studies everything. You know what I mean? He rewatches, he thinks about it again. That's how he gets so smart. I thought it was a great little piece, a great little plot device in there.
One of the things, by the way, just to say, and we were just talking about Easter eggs, but I want to know if the bust is actually how he gets into the. Did you notice they had the bust and the phone from the 66? Anyway, so we're talking about things about growing. So Glenn, you brought up growing. One really great thing is he's not anything like Robert Pattinson. Having a day.
Well, they're calling him Pattinson now. If you didn't know, we had Batfleck. We now have Pattinson. So
Pattinson.
Not Pattinson. They're calling him Pattinson now.
Robert Pattinson, one of the things that's really great about his Batman is, one, he plays the Batman. He doesn't play Bruce. So you can tell that he hasn't figured out how to play the Playboy. He doesn't know that he needs that persona yet. Alfred makes it very clear that he did train him on fighting, but he hasn't had some of the martial arts studies maybe. So we're still getting a Batman that we can grow with, and who is also completely abusing his power, which is another point of the film. It's you have this rich guy using these amazing high-tech contact lenses. And it's another example of this privilege that he just doesn't comprehend. This could be used in either a negative way or a positive way, or he needs to grow with the technology that he's getting. Because, I mean, Selena's like, you know what, I'm going to use this as a tool to contact somebody. I'm not just going to use this as this one thing that he wants. I'm going to use it as a tool. Or it's the way that these little things are shaping who he is becoming. That is what made aspects like the contact lenses so much fun, is you can see that he is growing even at this early age, even though we didn't get the origin story. We don't need the origin story. We got it. It's just like Spider-Man. We don't need an origin story. We got those films. We're good.
Completely agree. Let's can we go into Colin Farrell a little bit? Which was camouflage, just insanely done. And you brought this up, Heather, too. Just can we glush on him more? Just he disappeared and was so well done. We have to have him back if they do another one. Back as Penguin. He just disappeared into that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember this. I'm being dumb right now. Give me a second. I've got to remember. First off.
Oh, go ahead. You found it?
No, well, I didn't find the right one yet. But if you have never seen In Bruges, In Bruges, watch that film. It'll change your life. And even if you're not a film person, that movie will make you a film person. But no, it's the last one. What's it called? Hold on.
Well, while she's saying that, I'll just go back to the last point we were talking about. I'd love also how it showed that how consumed Batman is by this quest, like where Alfred is coming in and he's like, yo, you got a company to run or whatever. You gotta meet with shit. Like, and he's just like, nothing else matters. This is the only, like, so you see how obsessed he is with it. All right. Now Heather's back. I just wanted to throw, and that was the last point I wanted to jump in and throw that in.
No, all I could think of it was a Guy Ritchie movie. So I don't know if either of y'all saw The Gentleman, the last Guy Ritchie film with, what's his face, with Matthew McConaughey. There we go.
No,
that was what I was thinking.
I did not.
It's so Guy Ritchie, of course. I mean, I'm not going to talk much about Guy Ritchie. We all know about Guy Ritchie as a director. The Gentleman takes place. It's kind of a weird mob kind of story about pot in the UK, about the pot business in the UK. And Colin Farrell plays this chubby guy called the coach, like the football coach. Like he plays that atypical, that stereotype football coach guy, but is a mercenary at the same time. And like, I watched that and I'm sitting here going, why is this man so freaking attractive like this? Like he's truly the epitome of, I am not one of those people that falls in love with someone because of their looks. I like them because of them as an actor. I have been in love with Colin Farrell since I was 13. Like he is a phenomenal actor and he just looks good doing it. So completely underutilized, his range is huge in the Penguin.
Yeah. And that shows it what he did here. Yeah. He escaped into that. And I can only imagine the freedom as an actor to have that makeup on, and he fucking killed it. He murdered it. He did an outstanding job.
It's so good that I did not realize it was Colin Farrell until we recorded this. Like that's I did not know until we started taping that. Oh, that was Colin Farrell. Yeah. That's insane. Like he got the little, again, my thing about this film is the nuances, just the little things that make it so great. Like his little waddle, you know what I mean? Like how he's waddling. I don't know how he ends up, in the sewers or whatever, how they used to have the penguin or something. But
Danny DeVito now.
Yeah, the Danny DeVito, because that's like, that I love it just maybe because I saw it when I was a kid, but like it was great. You definitely understood what you were getting, and he played it up well. And the way that the plot went, and how, you know, the head of the mob basically gets taken down and he falls into that position, like it all works out well. And I think also he also didn't have like a super antagonistic relationship with Batman. Like they went at it, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like him and the Joker, him and the Riddler, where it was constantly going back and forth. It was just kind of like he's here doing his underworld thing, and you know, sometimes they run into each other and he runs afoul, but really he's not like a villain. And I just love, you know, I feel like every Batman movie has like 2 or 3 villains in the movie. You know what I mean? Like it's never just one. It's always like a host of characters throughout the city. And I thought he fit his place so well in this one. Amazing job.
So with that being said, that car chase scene,
I can't emotionally, like,
insane, right?
it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. Like it I'm sorry, Fast and Furious, you might get knocked off the top. Like it was amazing.
So well shot. So well shot.
Matt Reeves does a great job of putting you like in the moment, feeling like you're there. That car chase scene where it's just like the 2 shots, like you're either in the car with Batman or in the car with Penguin or Oz, you know, like, so it's one of those two. And he just puts you right there. You just feel like you're inside of the film. And even the scene where Batman is in the police station, it just feels so claustrophobic in there. Like you feel like you're part of that scene, that, you know, and he just does a great job of just taking you there. The revving up of the Batmobile obviously was, I think everybody either got hard or wet during there. You know what I mean? Like it was wild. You know what I mean? When that happened,
all down my face.
Yeah, exactly. There was definitely some feelings. I definitely had to put the popcorn in front of me for a second because that was very exciting.
That reminded me. Let's give a shout out to sound editing, audio. So that is what made that scene so immaculate. Mm-hmm. You know, again, like with the car chase scene, you know, beautifully cinematically shot, frame per frame, every shot mattered and put you in that car or chasing the car. But then when the car flipped, they brought down the audio and you felt what it would be like if you've been into an accident before. Mm-hmm. Just everything kind of sounds completely different. But then, yeah. And then, like you said, in the scene where you were claustrophobic when you were in the
police station,
yeah. But that revving, when that came through, you knew that was the fucking Batmobile and you lost your shit. It was, so shout out to sound audio, because that's very important. When to dial it up and when to dial it back and get softness or loud. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, as a filmmaker, I just, this is a filmmaker's film as well. You know what I'm saying? As a filmmaker, to just how you construct a story, how you set up shots, how you layer the audio. Insane. I would have definitely liked to see more of the Batmobile, but again, this film didn't focus on Batman and his tech. You know what I mean? There's other films that focus on Batman and his tech. This was kind of like, the car was exactly what the film was. It was like gritty, hard, muscle, strong. You know what I'm saying? Like ripping through the streets, tearing through things, very visceral and gritty. That car really defined what the movie is. I think all the movies, like the Batmobile, really defines like kind of the mystique or the tone that the movie is going for, and that car 100% did that. I don't know if you all noticed this, but at the very beginning, did you notice how Commissioner Gordon, his glasses made it like, so he had little horns too, so he kind of looked like he was the Batman too, which is kind of like an ode to like, hey, we're kind of on the same team here.
I did not see that. I'll look for that one.
Like when you, Heather, because you're going to see this like a lot more times, just all the nuances between how characters are introduced or where they're standing or like the shadows or whatever. I really think they play with shadows. I don't know if it was intentional, but I feel like it was just like a slight visual cue of like Commissioner Gordon and Batman are on the same team. And I really got that feel when I was first watching it. I was just like, okay, I see what you're, okay, I'm peeping game, Matt Reeves. I see what's going on here. Like there's just a lot of just small pieces that are giving you little indications that you don't even realize, or that are telling more with the story from you just watching it. If Commissioner Gordon and Batman didn't speak from that scene, you would already know they're aligned. They're on the same team.
Mm-hmm. So this goes to this is a message just to the Academy of Motion Pictures. Film editing and music and sound are absolutely important. Please do not cut them from your roster just because you do not think they are important enough. They make a film, and this proved it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With love, every film watcher ever. But no, it's the relationships, the growing, once again, where this film diverges from many films, and once again, you do not have to compare. There is no need to compare. And Danny DeVito, by the way, versus Colin Farrell, are they both versions of the comic book character? Absolutely. Do we need to compare them? Absolutely not. Are they both great? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
End of conversation. But it's one of those where this film, you walked out, you were happy, you walked out, you were upset. Both ways. It was really great. It was really fun. It was beautifully shot. And I think most of us can agree that it was a beautifully shot film, and production and makeup and costume, like it went above and beyond. And if you do not know that is Colin Farrell, that just shows how great of a film this was.
Yeah. Or how much you don't pay attention. That also.
I was gonna say, I don't know how you didn't pay attention. The one thing that actually got my husband interested, he was like, Heather, Colin Farrell's playing the Penguin. And I was like, what? Like, so we've known this since, when it was announced, we were both like, oh my God. Like it wasn't the bright, shiny vampire. And by the way, please watch other Robert Pattinson films. Oh my God, you're missing out. Please watch other Robert Pattinson films.
Go see The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Go see The Lighthouse, or watch The Lighthouse. Oh my God. I believe it's on Netflix right now. I believe.
Not sure, but go see it.
It's honest. It is on a streaming service. You can watch it. Definitely do. But like this, what made me excited about this film was Colin Farrell as a mobster. Like I was in love the moment that happened. So.
Now, what about Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman? Because we haven't talked a lot about her. And I feel like this is the most, like every other Batman, I don't think Catwoman ever gets a fair shake as a character. You know what I'm saying? Like she was amazing. Like we can gush over Colin Farrell all day. Your Colin Farrell to Heather is like Zoe Kravitz to Glenn right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, every time she's on camera, I'm in love with her. I loved her fight scenes because I felt like she did an amazing fight scene. The fight scene between her and Batman was pretty incredible. I really enjoyed that. I just wanted more of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted more, and we got enough. We got enough to tell the story or whatever. I just wanted more of it because it was so good. Like just seeing the technique and her going back and forth with Batman was just like amazing. And then her skills as like a burglar too, and just her fit and the way that she wore her cowl. Thoughts, y'all. What are our thoughts on Zoe Kravitz? Amazing Catwoman. I know we already talked about it, but I just wanted to throw it out there again.
Yeah,
we just want to talk about Zoe Kravitz. We just want to talk about Zoe.
Absolutely. The fit of the cat suit was amazing.
I think that there's a person on Twitter, and I think they made this is the most honest review about Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. The first time she came on stage, some girl in the audience moaned.
Yeah,
that is the perfect definition of how amazing she was cast in this role.
Very much. I'll tell you what, I am very glad that they had that car scene chase and then they gave us a break and then Zoe Kravitz came back on as Catwoman, because if they would have put those two together, it would have been a problem in them seats. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been way too much for your boy. You know what I mean?
Wow. All right. As I said earlier, Zoe Kravitz absolutely killed it for me. Amazing. She looked embodied. When we talk about Professor X, we always bring up Patrick Stewart. When we talk about Superman, it's always Christopher Reeve. I know you're Henry Cavill, Heather, this new generation, but I don't know. I don't know. I might be wrong, but Christopher Reeve Superman, Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. But
Christopher Reeve Wait, Christopher Reeves.
He was the original. Oh, he wasn't the original.
No, I know, but that was so long ago. Like Henry Cavill has been Superman way longer than.
No, he hasn't.
Everybody thinks. I don't know. Different generation. Christopher Reeve is number one for Superman. Most people think. If you were to take a poll, people would say Christopher Reeve.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Where have
I'll fall back. I see Henry Cavill as Superman every time.
Wow, and that's insane to me.
Again, we don't have to.
But again, we don't need to judge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like we're saying, whoever's yours, that's you, and everybody's their generation.
I was going to say real quick. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
No worries.
As long as it's not Dean Cain because he's a racist piece of trash, that's okay. You can take anyone else. It's fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But everybody has their pinnacle. They're who, it I think with her performance in this, Zoe sealed it, at least for me. So again, for me, she felt embodied that the role. And I when I was looking, because other people put up, Heather put up a thing about Batman, or somebody shared something. Prime Video did some foolishness and neglected Kevin Conroy and Adam West, right? That Heather pointed out. I then saw a Catwoman similar thing, and there people were throwing shade and bullshit. But to me, Catwoman, Zoe killed it. So hands down, look, feel the way I would, envision her, that she killed it, as I knew she would. So yeah, to your point in regards to Zoe, Glenn, yeah, I could talk, and I wanted more too. I'm with you. I would have loved more, but it didn't suit it fit within the story constraints that it needed to be. I was hoping for more, but the way they wrote it in this, although I would have, would have been some different areas I would have changed it, and maybe that's a topic for another conversation. What would you have added, deleted to this? Again, I think should be a different edit to this, but that's me.
I'll tell you what I would have added. How come in Gotham nobody has blinds? Like, why is there so much crime, but there's no blinds? If you you don't have to resort to crime. Just start selling blinds, because nobody covers their windows. There's no window coverings in Gotham. What's going on? That was what I would add.
That's a homeowner right there, or a soon-to-be homeowner right there.
I will say, Patrick, and I know we're going to argue about this, but I feel Henry Cavill has been Superman in more movies than Christopher Reeve.
Mm-mm.
Christopher Reeve had 3, right?
4.
4. And Henry Cavill has been in at least 5? Like, he had Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and then the 2 Justice Leagues, right?
Just one Justice League.
I don't know what variant of Glenn we got right now, but we got a bad variant of Glenn.
Wait, no, hold on.
Okay, guys, we need to stop talking about the Snyderverse, because I will start talking about the Snyderverse, and we just need to stop talking about the Snyderverse. Look, I love Henry Cavill with all my heart and soul. I want him to live a wonderfully prosperous life, and we will continue to watch The Witcher with all of our hearts. But he has walked away from the role, and he is no longer Superman. I am sorry, guys, and same with Ben Affleck. Get off your asses. He walked away.
Okay. Which all right.
So let's close this out. Last comments on this. On
okay,
the Batman.
Wait. Let me do something. All right, I have a PSA and a riddle for you. Okay, guys.
Okay,
riddle time.
Ready.
All right, riddle me this, Batman. A person can be right. A person can be wrong. A person can love a thing, and they can also hate it. But there are always exceptions to the rule. If you walk out or away from anything, and it's only because of race, sex, or gender, what are you?
Incel.
Okay, there's one.
Republican.
Multiple answers.
He said a Republican.
There's a 2. Guys, it's a bigot. If you are walking away from this movie because you are mad that Jim Gordon is black, you are mad that Zoe Kravitz is mixed. If you are angry that there is a Latinx character at the lead, then guess what? You are racist. You a bigot. You a sexist. You a misogynist.
Yep.
Your opinion is not fucking valid.
Tell it, girl.
That's not a review. That's you just being a jackass.
There we go. That's a good way to finish this off. Yeah. But so to you, again, like earlier I brought up 89 Batman is still it for me. With this being a close second, what is it for you? Is this your Batman film now, Heather?
No, mine is always going to be Mask of the Phantasm. I'm sorry, that movie won an Oscar, and it's going to always stay at the top of my heart. Batman, the animated series, that was what
I'm with you on
made me
that.
a comic book fan.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Kevin Conroy will always hold a special place in my heart. How about you, Glenn?
This is going to be weird, and you're going to hate me again. I like the Batman from Flashpoint. I like the Frank. Or the I like what you call it? What's this called? Not Bruce Wayne, his dad. What's his dad's name?
Thomas Wayne.
Thomas Wayne. I like that Batman.
What was your favorite Bat movie?
Well, you're talking about the Justice League Flashpoint animated film.
The Flashpoint. Yeah. Okay.
He's a major point. He's a major part in that. As a matter of fact, like they don't win if it's not for Thomas Wayne or Batman or whatever.
So the Justice League Flashpoint Batman is your favorite Batman.
I'd like seeing Thomas Wayne if he survived and his son died. I just thought that was such a great take that I had never thought before, and it just kind of turned my head thinking about the character, because the character always is someone who has loss and what they do with that loss.
I feel you. But you're talking the animated film,
the animated
over the comics, because to me the comic was the comics is like we say, the books are always better. The comics,
right?
Origins of it all. The comics were I didn't like the animated compared to as much as like the comics to me were 1,000 times better.
But in terms of film, I did like this one quite a bit. But I mean, The Dark Knight was pretty solid for me, but this was very close to me to the Dark Knight. You know what I mean?
So Dark Knight
in terms of Batman films, you know what I mean? Like
you can only take one. You're going to a deserted island. You can only take one.
I don't know. I just I'll take the Keaton was the first. I mean, but the thing about
this guy.
But listen, the thing about the Keaton one is that that wasn't really Batman. He's like shooting people and like killing people or whatever. So it's
no. Michael Keaton is Batman.
It's so true. But okay, I'll go with I like the Dark Knight deal. I like that. I like the Nolan.
There you go.
I like the Nolan one.
We got a solid answer.
But I feel like it's fair. It's only fair to give this movie 2 sequels before you can actually be fair to it, because the Dark Knight, that was a trilogy. They took time to build them up, and you know what I mean, the first one, and then come back with the Dark Knight, and then finish it off, with them getting his back broken against Bane. So yeah. All right.
Right.
Do we have all our feelings out for this?
I mean, no, but that's all right. That's okay.
I mean, there's
like again tonight. It's fine. I'm fine. It'll be fine.
We could continue talking about this for a long time because because it's such a good film. Like the nuance of Commissioner Gordon. We could talk about that. How well he played that character. I mean, how
well did they? I wasn't expecting Batman and Gordon to team up as much as they did,
and you never see that. You never see like how. Yeah,
but I will say they solved the clues a little bit too quick. I wanted more detective work on that. Certain aspects of that could have been better processed to really show the detective element.
Yeah, but listen, URL, that was a good one. That was a damn.
I don't know. The best one was still.
You like the thumb drive?
Thumb drive. The comedic pieces to this were wonderful, and thank you, Colin Farrell, for being that comedic pause. But like. See, and I'm going to bring it all back. To cycle it back to the very beginning. This is the reason why this movie was so great, and why so many people from who were raised up on the 80s and 90s, especially the Batman the Animated Series, are going to love this film. It's because the relationship between the characters are what drove this film. A big example is Jim and his relationship with Batman, which is so well defined in series like Batman the Animated Series. We did not get that enough in other films, and we are finally getting to see that this is not. Batman is not just a vigilante. He is technically a team player. He has a family for a reason. And this is going to create Matt Reeves coming out saying, I want to include more of the Bat family. I want to include more of the Rogues Gallery. That is exactly what we were looking for when you think about it. And so it's great. It's great.
Yeah. Did you guys think Batman almost cried when the kid was sitting
crying.
there? Like, huh?
He was crying.
Like at the very beginning, right? Like he had like a little tear for the little dude who was about to be an orphan because the mayor died, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I was like, am I crazy or does Batman have a tear right now? So
right, close us out, Kuya P. Close us out.
All right, let's get up out of here. Those are our thoughts on the Batman. Is it the Batman like the Ohio State, or is it Batman or the Batman? Let us know. As y'all heard, my Batman is Batman.
All right.
So let us know. Let me throw it over to Heather. How can they reach out to you with everything you do and that amazing show you do called New Release Wednesday?
Whenever I have a camera, when I can do that. New Release Wednesday is out every Wednesday. You can follow us right here on the YouTubes. It's on the Tubes of You, and where we talk about comic books. And if you have any questions about the comic books that are related to this film, including the ones Matt Reeves personally suggested you read, you can reach out to me at Nerd is a Heather on Twitter. I know my own handles, I promise. And the opposite on Instagram and TikTok at Heather is a Nerd.
There you go. Follow my girl Heather, and of course the Blur Dad Glenn Lawrence. He settled on The Dark Knight. If you disagree with that, let them know. How can they reach out to let you know, Glenn, how sadly you're mistaken?
There is so much to disagree with me on all times. And if you want to do that, you can check out levelupcomedy.com. Also on Twitter, Glenn Levels Up. That's where I'll be taking most of the punishment for people disagreeing with me. And also, if you want to reach out on Facebook or Instagram, it's Glenn Lawrence Comedy.
There you go. Give my peoples all the love. I love them so much, even when we disagree. It's all good. For me, it's the Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, and IG. Of course, Show Pal Show. And here with Heather, Glenn, and the whole squad at New Release Wednesday and at the NRW, where nerds rule the world. We're out of here until you show up the bat signal, and then we'll come flying in. All right, we're out of here.